image, and the image was probably a family idol, and it had something to do with healing. Okay? So that's images. Now, when we see images in our Bible, does every image mean the same? No. Does Yah have a different response for different kind of images? Let's find out. Exodus, the Shemot 20 and 4. We all should know this, right? At the mountain. Let's turn there. Exodus 20 and 4. I went too far. Bless his name. Exodus 20 and 4. What was commanded on the mount from heaven. And it says, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. When it comes to the idols, he gave a little dialogue, didn't he? When we came at idols. So in Genesis 20 and 4, I'm sorry, thank you, sweetie. Exodus 20 and 4, image, pesel, idol or image. Child root is pasal, to cut, hew into shape. So this image is something that is an image that has been cut or hewn into a specific shape for whatever specific reason. Major no-no. All right. Now, what's unique about altars? That when you are putting together an altar for Almighty, what are you not supposed to do?
Don't hew it. Don't not touch the stone.
Boom. That right there. So either with an idol, you shouldn't have them anyway. One. And then when it comes to the altar or certain things of God, man, don't let a tube touch it. Okay. Now, let's turn to Leviticus. I'm sorry. Turn to Deuteronomy 4 really quick. We're still looking at this Pesach. Turn to Deuteronomy 4 really quick. Just because it's the same Hebrew word, we just, Anyway, Deuteronomy 4 and 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations. Ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands. Pesach. Wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Remember we talked about a couple weeks ago about this, the image of the beast, and how the beast gave the image of the beast power, and that the image was able to do things, and all people bowed and worshiped it. And we told you, the artificial intelligence, Skynet, all these things have been subliminally put in your mind. It's going to be one day. And people are going to be so just punch drunk off of the wine and the liquor of Babylon. They're going to, oh my goodness, look at that. Half human, half robot. Wow. And the whole world is going to bow. These images at this time, they don't talk. They don't do anything. But what verse 29, but he said, but if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, and thou shalt find him, and thou seek him with all thine heart, with all thine soul, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things will come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou shalt turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient to his voice. So they had to deal with images of gods and idols that did not speak, that could not hear, stone, wood. Our images in our time, what's coming in the future, that is going to be doing everything. Oh, I'm just a big Michael Jackson fan. Well, that image will be doing the moonwalk. I'm a big Joe Montana. That thing will be throwing the ball 700 yards. Wow. Ooh. Ah. Just lulling people to sleep. Whatever your fancy is, that image is going to be able to do. Now, let's turn to Leviticus 26. Let's get to the real meat. That's some good meat. We're going to get to this meat. Leviticus 26. We have image again. We know that Leviticus 26 is kind of like that chapter, like Deuteronomy 28, right? About first 14, 15 verses, everything cool. That 14, 15 verse, if you don't, I'm going to do, woo, that's a big old bell. So Leviticus 26, let's look at verse 30 in the Vayikra. Look at what Yah's response to these kind of images. Leviticus 26 and 30, he says, and I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcass upon the carcass of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you. Why didn't he say that? Why wasn't that brought up with Rachel? What about in Deuteronomy with the other images? What was that called again? The Pesach. What's so unique about this? This images is Haman. Haman, altar, incense, sun pillar. Who that peeping in your window? Idol, image. Sun, pillar, S-U-N. This image, I'm confused. I will destroy your high places, cut down your images, and cast your carcass, your dead body, upon the carcasses of your sun pillars. And my soul shall abhor you. 2 Chronicles 34. Now we got to see if this word Haman, can we find this word in our scriptures? And do we find Yah's response? And if so, if he did it then, well, what about today? Only one way to find out. Second Chronicles 34. And who brought the Tanakh today? Okay. These next couple of passages, we're going to read out the Tanakh because the Tanakh does an amazing job of telling you the truth. So both of y'all pull out your Tanakhs, please. We're going to follow along in our scripture. All right, so let's look at 2 Chronicles 34, 4 through 7. We all know about Josiah, right?
Yes.
Now, when Josiah, when he came of age, he wasn't playing, was he? Right? Some Bibles, your Bibles might say Josiah's reform. He was kicking behind. He was killing left and right. He was doing all kinds of stuff. We're going to look at why. We got to remember what it said in the law. So, Kelly, honey, can you give me 2 Chronicles? Okay. Lorenzo got it. Okay. Brother Ring, can you give me 2 Chronicles 34 and verse 4? Now, if you're in the Tanakh, Chronicles is going to be different. Then it might be more towards the back. Because it's the Chronicles, the chronological writings. Which we trying to get back. We trying to because we got to get back in order. Right? How can Israelites, how can the Hebrews lead or be effective to the nations if yourself ain't together? Your mind ain't right. Your spirit ain't right. Your heart, you still lying and you cheating, you hustling and you pimping. And how you gonna help somebody else? That don't make no sense to me. There's no kind of discipline or no kind of, hey, we gotta preach against sin. Yeah. Hate sin. You got it, brother.
24 and what?
No, 2 Chronicles 34, verse 4 through 7. 2 Chronicles 34, 4 through 7. So when I go from my Tanakh to my regular Bible, I'll be all over the place. And I go one way, and one way the other. Just make it one way. The right way. Go ahead, brother. Read.
Said 34 and what?
34, then 4 through 7. Everybody else following our regular Bibles. We're gonna and brother, I'm gonna stop you. Okay, go ahead. Verse 4. Go ahead and read. See, 2 Chronicles 34. Just go the opposite way.
Page 2013.
2 Chronicles 34, verse 4.
Year 2017, 2018.
We having Tanakh difficulties, not technical, Tanakh difficulties.
That's all
But
right.
we gonna get it though.
They broke down the altars of Baal before him, and he cut down the sun image.
He cut down the what?
The sun image.
What kind of images?
The sun image.
But everybody else Bible it just say images, don't it?
Yep.
It just say images. But it's really what kind of image, brother?
Sun image.
Go ahead, read.
He cut down the sun images that were on the top of them. He smashed and grounded up the Asherah trees,
Mm.
the
Keep on
idols, and the molten images, and he threw them over the graves of the people who had sacrificed to them.
Stop right there. Okay, so
Wow.
what kind of images was it again?
Sun images.
Sun images. And what happened to the people? I'm confused. What did he do to the people that worshiped him? He killed them, didn't he? They got killed, didn't they? Well, what did it say here? Leviticus 26 and 30. Didn't it say that your carcass will be on? I'm gonna smash the idols. So Josiah and the men of righteousness, they smashed the sun idols. And then they took the carcasses, they killed the people. See, that lovely New Testament, he coming back to kill. He did it then. The world is littered with Sunday Christianity. So what do you think he gonna do? Every king, every prophet, he said everything in that book is written of me. It's a shadow. He took the bodies and put the bodies on top of the ashes. Go ahead, brother. Keep on reading. Go ahead now. Go ahead and read verse 5.
He burned the bones of the priests upon their altars. And
The bones of the who?
the priests.
The priests of the sun worship. The priests of the sun idols. Of the sun images. Go ahead, brother.
He burned the priests of the bone. He burned the bones of the priests upon their altars, and he cleansed Judah and Jerusalem, and
So-
the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, and Simon.
So judgment starts where again? What we reading 1 Peter?
House.
Judgment starts in the house. So if the house is y'all full of sun images
Come on.
and idols, and we know Yahshua a bad man, where you gonna start mess with that stuff first? I ain't worried about pagans who do it. Pagans just pagans. I ain't worried. That's what they do. But you in my name, you in my house,
Right.
you got Baal all up in here, Asherah all up in here. I gotta holler at you, and I ain't coming to ask for no sugar. Go ahead, brother. Read.
Ephraim and Simon up to Naphtali, with their hatchets all around.
So they went through hacking and smashing. Go ahead, brother. Read.
He
Thank you.
smashed the altars. He ground up the Asherah trees and the graven images into dust, and he cut down the sun images and all the land of Israel, and then returned to Jerusalem.
He cut down the what images?
The sun images.
Go ahead, brother. Read.
In the 18th year of his reign, when he had purified the land.
So the land was purified after he got rid of all the sun stuff. So who is Mashiach? Is he the son of man? He the son of man. Go ahead, brother. Finish up that 8th verse.
And the temple. And he sent Shaphan, son of Azaliah, Messiah, the city officer, and Joah, son of Johaz, the security, to reinforce the temple of Hashem, his God.
To reinforce it. Is that said to reinforce? So in other words, to make sure that sun mess don't get back up in here. Don't bring that sun mess back up in here no more. If you dare bring that, go ahead, thank you, brother. If you dare do that, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna get you. What it said? They got hatchets. See, it's one thing when you got a gun. It's a clean kill. When you pull out, you talking about swords and spears and axes. Man, that is some zeal. That's how Mashiach gonna be. Because his mouth gonna be like a sword. Eyes just full of fire. We read I don't know how many passages about the crew rolling with him. Them chariots of fire, them horses, them angels. And so why do we treat Mashiach like a joke?
Come on.
Because I was programmed that way. I was taught that way. I was led that way. Wake up! Isaiah in the Tanakh 17, please. Everybody else stay in your regular scripture. If you have a Tanakh, turn to Isaiah 17, 1 through 10. We saw that what what Josiah did, he did exactly what it said in Leviticus. He destroyed, grounded and if you notice, it was the sun altar, the sun image is on top of an altar. So in this, you have the Baal worship and the Asheroth, right? When we get into our Easter or Ishtar, we have those two hand in hand. This is why the temple was so just terrible, because of, in order to participate in these temples, it was extremely sexual and extremely aggressive. As in sacrifices, like sacrificing children, sacrificing people, bloodlust, I think is what it was called, bloodlust, and also the sexual actions, because you had Baal and Ashtaroth. So it was freaky and it was gory. Porn back in your ancient times. In the house of Yah. In the name of the Son. S-U-N. It's beautiful. Isaiah 17. Anybody got that has a Tanakh? Isaiah 17. You got that? Yeah, let's turn. Now everybody else, stay in your regular Bible. So when you hear sun image, S-U-N, yours is going to say just regular images. Okay? And that shortchanges you. You need that little money. I need that little money. Isaiah 17, verse 1 through 10. Go ahead, brother, read.
A prophecy concerning Damascus. Behold, Damascus will be negated from being a city, and it will be a heap of rubble. Deserted will be the cities of Arab. They will be for flocks that will lie down with none to disturb them. The stronghold will cease from Ephraim, and the monarchy from Damascus, and the rest of Aram. They will be like the glory of the children of Israel, the word of Hashem, master of legions. It shall be on that day that the honor of Jacob will diminish, and the fatness of his flesh grow lean. It will be as when the harvester gathers grain, and his arm cuts the ear. And it will be as the one who gleans ears in the valley of Rephaim. Only gleanings will remain on him, like a pickled olive tree, with but 2 or 3 olives on the top of the highest branch, or 4 or 5 on its flourishing boughs. The word of Hashem, God of Israel. On that day, man will turn to his Maker, and his eyes will look to the Holy One of Israel. He will not turn to the altars of his own handiwork.
He will not turn to the what?
Altars of his own handiwork. And to what his fingers made, he will not look, nor to the Asherah trees or the sun images. On that day, his fortified cities will be like the abandonment of forests and woodlands. They shall be which they abandoned before the children of Israel, and it will be desolate.
Thank you. Now go ahead and read 10, brother.
Okay.
We need this one right here.
For you have forgotten the God of your salvation.
You forgotten Yahshua, huh? You forgot Yahshua before you knew him. It was already written. Go ahead, brother.
And have not remembered the rock of your stronghold, because you have been planted as pleasant saplings, but you sow strange shoots.
Wow.
Strange.
So, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Thank you, brother. So, in order for Israelites or for the body of Christ to avoid this predicament that's coming, you must destroy all your son's idols, altars, worship, relationship, to lack power. Do we see that happening today? Will that kind of revival happen today?
No.
I'm fighting you tooth and nail to keep it. What does Yah say? Have your way. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, the last couple months, about the strong delusion. I'll let you have it. The wrath is coming. So the Bible has told us, specifically in the Tanakh or in our Hebrew, that these sun idols is no more else than Baal. And with Baal, we have the Ashtoreth, which is what we would understand as our winter solstice and our spring equinox. And the modern 21st century, what do we say? So when we say that Yah's going to rage war, wherever I put that at, it was somewhere on here, but anyway. But whenever he comes whenever he rages war, he means it. And them sun idols, sun altars, sun pillars, the images of stone and wood, particularly wood, crosses, all these different things, phalluses, he's coming to destroy those places. He's going to put the carcasses on top of the destruction. And we just read it. But we know what? We're not done. Isaiah 27. Somebody give me Isaiah 27 in the Tanakh, 1 through 13. Just because, he did it then, he ain't going to do it. He ain't like that now. This is Jesus now. It's Jesus time. It's Jesus time now. Jesus ain't like that. I beg to differ, sir. He just like his father. Matter of fact, I go hard to make my daddy happy. I go over and beyond the call of duty, even the sacrificing of myself to make my daddy happy. Isaiah 27, brother, 1 through 13. Go ahead, read.
On that day, Hashem will bring punishment with harsh, great, mighty sword upon Leviathan, the bear-like serpent, and upon Leviathan, the twisting serpent, and he will kill the great fish that is in the sea. On that day, people will sing about Israel, a vineyard of fine wine. I am Hashem, who guards it. I water it frequently, lest it be held to account against it. Night and day will I guard it. I have no wrath if I only were at war with the weeds and the thorns. I would then trample it and set it all together afire. If Israel would grasp my stronghold.
If we would do what?
Grasp my stronghold.
Go ahead.
Then he would make peace with me.
So we're at war with him. Go ahead, read. Peace would he make?
Then will make peace with me. Peace would he make with me. Days are coming when Jacob will take root, Israel will bud and blossom and fill the face of the earth with fruit.
Hang on right there. So in order for that to happen, we just read in the same book, same prophet, earlier chapter, you better tear up all that sun mess.
Yeah.
And all the Asherah, tear it all up. Okay, go ahead, brother. Read verse 7.
Did he strike him as he struck those who struck him? Was he slain like the slaying of his enemies? According to his measure of sin, he contended against her farmland, stripping it with his harsh wind.
According to the what now? The measure of what?
The measure of sin.
According to the measure of sin?
Yep.
Brother, hold your spot, Renzo. Give me 1 John 3 and 4. L1, give me Romans 6, 22 through 23. We're going to come right back to you, Brother Ren. To the measure of sin. We at war with him because of sin. But I'm going to talk and teach about sin. Go ahead, brother.
Everyone doing sin also does lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness.
No law. So sin is no law. Okay. Now, so that means if you're doing sin, what's the consequence, brother Erwan? Go ahead, read. 6, 22 through 23.
It says, but now being made free from sin and full service to God, you have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Go ahead, brother. Let's speak. Look, the Bible speaks for itself, though. Go ahead.
Therefore, though this shall Jacob's iniquity be atoned for,
Mm-hmm.
and this shall be the fruit of his sins removed.
Mm.
When he makes all the altar stones like ground chalk stones.
All of them?
All-
Or some of them?
All of them.
All of them. Go ahead.
And Asherah trees and sun idols arise no more.
No more? Well, what about next year?
No more.
What about in 4 or 5 years?
No more.
Go ahead.
For the fortified city will be lonely, inhabitants depopulated, and forlorn like the wilderness. There a calf will graze,
Mm-hmm.
there will lie and consume its branches.
Mm-hmm.
When it balls, whether they break, women will come and
Mhm.
set aflame. For it is not a nation of understanding.
Mm.
Therefore its maker will not show it mercy, and its creator will not be gracious unto it.
Stop right there. Let's speak for itself, don't it? All right, Ezekiel 6. He wasn't playing about them sun idols now. Ooh, we talking about the separation. I ain't trying to be Noah around there. Because this man is coming. This particular topic right here, I don't care about what Moab do. I don't care about the Canaanite. I'm talking about my people
Uh-oh.
that call on me, to pray to me, to beg to me, to spend it. And you got all this sun stuff. Better get rid of it.
Amen.
That's Ezekiel 6. Have mercy. Ezekiel 6, and if somebody can give me Ezekiel 4 through 6. Ezekiel 4 through 6. I got it. I'm gonna give y'all a break. I've been.
I got it.
Oh, you got Ezekiel 4 through 6. You got it to knock.
4 through 6, right? No, I know.
Okay, so we're gonna look at this in the Tanakh. All right, you got it, brother.
Which one?
Ezekiel. Okay, I got it. So Ezekiel, Ezekiel 6th chapter, verse 4. Follow along with me. I think mine's gonna start in 3. I'm gonna start in 3. Say, mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Hashem Elohim. Thus said the Lord Hashem Elohim to the mountains and to the hills, to the ravines and to the valleys. Behold, I am bringing a sword against you, and I will destroy your high places. Desolate will be your altars be, and broken will your sun images be. And I will cast down your slain before your idols. So every time it comes to the sun mess, I'm throwing your body on top of it. So you break it up, you get rid of it, you separate it. I'm going to break it and you. Verse 5, I will set the corpses of the children of Israel before their idols. I will scatter your bones around your altars. And in all your habitations, the cities will be destroyed, and the high places made desolate, so that your altars be destroyed and desolated. Your idols will be broken and nullified, your sun images cut down, and your deeds eradicated. He said, either you grind up the powder, have your own revival, have your own revolution, or I'm going to come and I'm going to get it and you. Because all of these idols, these sun worshiping idols, are in the house. I was supposed to look over this with y'all, but in 2 Chronicles 34 and 4, the sun images that were high above them. Okay, so I'm gonna look. I got some pictures for y'all, but I want to read. Some of this is just too good. Okay, this is some of the certain kind of images. This is talking about the Haman, the sun images, and it was saying that it appears that the Kamanim stood upon the altar of Baal. The Phoenician inscriptions illustrate exceedingly well both this interpretation and the thing itself. In these inscriptions, it's got some Hebrew here, in the name of the deity to whom votive stones were inscribed. Amongst these were, let me skip that. So the Baal and the Ashtaroth would go together. They would be together. So the Baal, the image, would be on top of, and I got some pictures that's going on right now. All right. But the sun images will be on top of this altar. This altar would be something maybe representing to the Ashtaroth or all the groves, and the sun images would be on top. Okay, so this is the sexual occult that was going on. So if you want to be freaky, you know, you can worship Baal. Okay, if you want to get your fix on some porn, go worship Baal. That's what they were doing back then. And this same still goes on today. So down here, I just had this with this saying the Chamanim, okay, and the Chamanim and the sun images, okay. And the same thing in verse 37. That's why you got to break them down. You got to tear up all the images in the powder. All right. The source of images in 21st century church from ancient times. Get your popcorn ready. Yay. We have a picture here of an altar with the sun image on top. And we have the priest and the men, and they're in the house. See this right here? Mm-hmm. This is in our Vatican today. Mm. Oh, great whore of Babylon, that causes the nations to get drunk. We have our same descriptions in this house, in this house. Can't make this stuff up. Brother, First Maccabees. Forgot about that. First Maccabees 3:48. Tell us what it says.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Oh, wow. So here's your Mashiach, right? And here's your mom. Here's Miriam, and here's Mashiach. But you know what we have behind? We have this behind. See that right there? We got that behind. Hand over the heart with the cross, the image of wood, the heart, the flame. I forgot what to say about this. There's just so much crazy stuff. But this is what he said, I'm coming to tear up. I'm coming to tear it up, and you, because you'll be found in these places. Make this stuff up. Wake up and separate from all forms of sun worship practice and return to Hamashiach. The different aspects, we got the eggs and trees and mistletoes and bells. We read that a couple weeks ago. He said, man, I hate your Jingle Bell song. But you know what he also hate? He also hate different musicians who sold out to the Baphomet, or who bowed down to Baal, or sold out to Masonry, or sold out